So we're back here on 970 WFLA. We were talking in the break, and our next topic here is how the gubernatorial election between Governor Rick Scott, the incumbent, and the challenger, former Governor Charlie Crist. And I think, from an insurance perspective, I think it's important for our listeners to understand, these are two guys that are going to have an impact on not just homeowners insurance, but the real estate industry by decisions they make about homeowners insurance. I think you had some thoughts about it and some points that you wanted to make. I think just naturally, everything I've read says that, Governor Scott is focused on more of a free market approach to homeowners insurance, bringing in more companies and kind of letting the market determine rates. Charlie Crist is more of a government involvement, lower rates, that's kind of more his approach is is one where he feels that he wants to come in and have more government influence and control over the insurance industry. Is that about accurate?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Let me start off by saying the only way to get lower insurance rates is to increase competition, meaning bring more and more insurance companies into the state of Florida so that way they can compete against each other for your business. And the free market economy type approach is definitely more attractive to the insurance companies than a governor standing up there saying, I'm going to mandate this and I'm going to mandate that.
Well, and the problem, like we talked about, the problem with the mandating stuff is even if you do that and then you get all the companies to lower their costs, or lower what they charge, their costs are the same. Basically, by lowering their charge, you're lowering their profit or their reserves. So let's say, Florida celebrates the next 2 or 3 years with lower insurance costs, and we're all high-fiving each other, and you can go, we got a few extra bucks to go to Starbucks or have a beer at the local pub, but then the big one hits, and then the insurance companies don't have money to pay out.
Right. And keep in mind, if you remember a few years back, there were a lot of companies that were trying to leave the state of Florida, i.e., the State Farms and the Allstates and those companies. We all remember when that was all over the news. And that was because there was a lot of things being mandated down to them saying that you can and can't do this and you can and can't do that. Rick Scott came in and took a more free market approach and said, well, the market's going to take care of itself. And really it did. Now we have a lot more companies that are coming into the state, and I'm getting notices on a regular basis that this company's going to come in, they're going to take policies away from citizens, and we're just letting you know when you start getting notices from these companies that they're a legitimate company and they're coming into the state of Florida to take away some of our policies. That's a good thing because if you're a Citizens customer and your coverage is getting lowered and your rates are going up, and then you have less and less coverage and higher rates, and all of a sudden XYZ company comes into the state of Florida and says, listen, we're going to take over and you don't have to worry about, that situation anymore. That's definitely a good thing, and that's been happening over the last couple of years. So, you obviously see what side of the fence that, I'm sitting on as far as an insurance professional. It's not that, we're afraid of regulation because we're still very heavily regulated. The government watches over us every single day. But what's best for our customers is to have a good, strong free market economy, lots of choices out there for our customers to choose from, and less and less and less citizens insurance involvement.
It's interesting because this specific topic kind of runs right down party lines too. You look at it, and obviously everyone knows that Republicans want more of a free market, less government involvement.
Right.
Democrats tend to align the other way, and again, that can't be applied to every single Republican or Democrat. That's relatively general because there's people that kind of go back and forth between them. But just ideologically, that's kind of how they align. And when you look at the two candidates here, they're obviously divided, and it's a very competitive race. It looks like. They're going neck and neck right now. It looks like right down the middle. But on the insurance front, it does appear that the insurance industry obviously would feel like Governor Scott is a better choice for it. And obviously, I think we've got listeners that probably side one way and listeners that side the other. So we really just wanted to talk about it from a standpoint of how it impacted property insurance and what their takes on it are. And there are other people that kind of advocate more of a blending of. We always say that, one party wants this and one party wants that, and maybe a compromise between the two is where middle ground should be. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, with the election just a few weeks away. If I hear any more Amendment 2 commercials on the radio, though. I think I'm going to drive off a cliff because that has been advertised so much. I think I'm just tired of hearing about it. So I'll obviously be out voting, but I'll be ready for this election just to kind of move on because I'm tired of seeing the commercials about it. We're going to jump to a news break and be right back to continue our conversation about the local real estate market here on the Duncan Duo Show.